Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hey, Jaideep. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
All well, yeah, all well.
Yes.
Just a sec.
So, yeah.
Is it fine now? Can you see me?
Yes. Yes, we can see you.
Okay, great.
Right.
So, I'm not sure whether you're aware or not, but we are also conducting this D-plan competition, right? Case study competition called WinZO Boss. So we're just a bit caught up with that. That's why the delay. Bunch of folks from IMCAL have
Alright.
also been participating.
Okay. That's great. Sorry, sir. There's just some disturbance. I'll immediately fix it. Be back.
No worries.
Yeah. Hello. Hi, sir. So we are also going to stream this on the I Am Calcutta YouTube handle. So a lot of our viewers would also be from.
Sure, no problem. By the way, I also have two of my fellow colleagues and ex-IMCAL alum, Kirti and Abhishek here. So we'll try to jam it up a bit. I'll first speak for a couple of minutes, and then these guys will also throw more light on what they are observing in the industry and their own journey at WinZO.
Hey, Jaideep, that'd be great. Yeah, I'm doing well, Abhishek. Hi, Kirti. Hi. Yeah. So we just have a short intro. Yeah, we just have a short intro for Paavan sir, and then we can probably kickstart the session. So we have Nancy as well, who's going to stream it. So yeah, shall we begin? Yes. All right.
Yes.
All right. So
just want to check, how much time you reserve for this one?
So we've reserved an hour for this. So approximately, yeah.
Okay. We'll try to wrap it up before 7.
Definitely.
And last 15 minutes, we'll leave it for Q&A. Okay?
Yes, definitely. We have some pre-collected questions as well. And if few questions come up, we can definitely take that.
All right. Cool. Great. Let's begin.
Right. So again, a very pleasant evening to one and all. And welcome to Genesis, presented by HiRect and in association with D2C. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Paavan Nanda, who is going to talk to us about social gaming, the way ahead in India. Mr. Paavan is the CEO and co-founder of WinZO, one of the largest vernacular social gaming and entertainment platforms. And Paavan is also a second-time entrepreneur. His first venture was Zostel and ZO Rooms, a Tiger Global backed aggregator model that is now Asia's largest chain of backpackers hostel. An alumnus of NSIT and IIM Calcutta, Paavan has had stints with Bain & Company, Abbott Labs, and Bank of America Global Trading Desk. So thank you, Paavan, for agreeing to come here, and I'm sure everyone will be, benefiting from your session. And the stage is all yours.
Thanks, Jaideep. Hello, everyone. It's always a pleasure to come back to one's alma mater, and I think I feel really special about IIM Calcutta. I think this is the place where me as an entrepreneur really, was born. So what I can do is, before we discuss what WinZO does or what's happening in the Indian gaming ecosystem, very quickly, I would like to touch upon my journey, because I'm sure a lot of folks are already in campus might take that as a leaf, as an example to sort of also change paths, maybe start off something, just in whichever way we can contribute. So I'm based out of Delhi, born and brought up here, did my engineering back in 2009 from NSIT. And after which I also went to do consulting for Bain. That was my first job. Spent about 2.5 years there in their Gurgaon office. That helped me really build a lot of structured thought process and problem solving capabilities. And that's where I decided to really pursue an MBA. and was fortunate enough to get through IIM Calcutta. I joined in 2012, so I'm a 2012 to 2014 batch graduate. Went to do my summers with Bank of America Merrill Lynch Hong Kong on the global trading desk. One of the most coveted summer internships. And when I came back to campus, one of my friends, batchmates and later who became a co-founder as well, he had this idea that, hey, how about we start a chain of backpacker hostels? And anyway, in second year of B school, as some of you might already be, there is an ample amount of time, right? And while most of the people actually end up just whiling away their time, either doing Netflix or traveling, a lot of people go on student exchange. I also went on student exchange myself. We thought starting off something can be really cool, and this is probably the only time when you can go ahead and do that without really risking your existing current opportunity or really quitting and starting from zero, right?
Recording in progress.
Yeah, you definitely have a very strong foundation already set where even if, let's say, you fail, you can always just go ahead and graduate and sit for placements and so on and so forth. So we started, I would say, probably in the second month of second year, which is about July or August of 2013, and garnered a lot of capital. Majorly, the capital that we garnered was through our own friends and family. So I think we are 7 founders. So that was also one of the interesting things. Totally arranged about 15 odd lakhs. And with that, we started up 2 hostels. And by the time we set up our second hostel, it was 4 months into it, somewhere around November, December.
Grammarly can help you write quickly and confidently, so you never have to slow down at work.
Go ahead and
Stay on top of emails, documents, and more without having to stay put. Whether you're working on your computer or on your phone, Grammarly provides instant writing advice, so your messages are clear without sounding rushed. Instant corrections make your writing
That was not the situation back then. And we had to really go ahead and arrange for those financing. And we took the route of business plan competitions. We participated in some 15, 16 business plan competitions, went ahead, and actually ended up winning all of them. So the good part was that while others were presenting a business plan in that competition, we actually presented our live and kicking business, which made a lot of differentiation. And as a result, we ended up winning IIT Bombay, Eureka. We ended up winning Richard Ivey Business Plan competition, IIT Kharagpur, Delhi. We went to NITI and, funnily, we won that competition with a margin where we got the first position as well as the second position, which was quite funny where, the judges actually came out at the podium and they said that, so there is only one winner, and that team has actually won both first and second prize, and that was Zostel. So that was some bittersweet memories back in the days of Joka. And of course, every time we used to put a post that, hey, we are launching this property, we saw 800 folks sharing and liking, the entire Joka community just cheering us, and got a lot of love and support that's much required in the early days. Graduated in 2014, of course, the first year was pretty much spent around traveling different parts of the country. I spent 3 months in Goa, 4 months in Udaipur. I spent 5 months in this place called Paharganj in New Delhi, where I was actually staying in a budget hotel. You can just imagine all these shady hotels that I was trying to convert into a backpacker hostel, and was pretty much spending all my time with carpenters and plumbers and electricians as to negotiating and figuring out how these things are done. So that was, I would say, a fairly interesting period because while some of my batchmates, in fact, most of my batchmates are doing pretty cushy jobs, I was haggling over the cost of plywood and which shade of paint would work well. So that is how I would say the first few months or years of entrepreneurship was. Then in 2015, it dawned upon us that instead of disrupting the backpacker hostel business, let's just go ahead and start a chain of budget hotels in an asset-light model, something like what OYO was doing. We were second to the market and we grew very fast. We actually got into a tough war with OYO, raised capital from Tiger Global, scaled the organization towards 700 odd people. And we scaled it so fast, I would say, did a lot of immature stuff, committed a lot of mistakes. As a result of which we had to, in fact, sell the ZO Room business to OYO Room sometime in 2016. And that's when I, along with other founders, we basically moved out. We were 7 founders, like I mentioned. So 4 were from IMCal. I was the only one from WH, so 3 from NH, and nobody from LVH. Just dropping it in. So that's basically my journey with my first startup. And when I moved out of it in 2016, it was pretty much starting from scratch, right? I had multiple, I was at a crossroad where I could have done multiple things. The first one was you go ahead and you pick a job, right? Because we didn't really earn a lot of money. We did not do any cash outs at Zostel. The second one was you go ahead and join a VC fund. Third one was you just go ahead and start off all over again. And somehow the undying entrepreneur in me had now tasted that sense of building something, and I wanted to start off something this time around for probably a couple of decades, and build something really long term, and was identifying those sectors, right? So there were 2 sectors that took me particularly excited about. The first one was actually no particular order. One was fintech, the other one was gaming. Both of them I thought has infinite potential, and basis at least my experience, it's important to get into a space which is large enough because you probably not get the product market fit right at the first time. But eventually you will, if you spend a long enough time in a particular space, you will end up eventually building a business model that will be sustainable, and you'll be able to create your moats around it. So that's why we were identifying a large space. And while fintech was, of course, very large, and it's still today very large, it was fairly regulated. And the first few business models that we thought about, me and my co-founder, were actually shot down, saying that, hey, this is against regulations, and that is against, that's something that RBI won't allow you to do. So it was fairly regulated, and we didn't want to sort of have these reins put on our creativity, right? As an entrepreneur, you want to be creative. So we're like, okay, this doesn't look like a sector where we can have fun. So let's look at the other side, and the other side was gaming. Fortunately and coincidentally, that's about time when Jio had come into the Indian market and started distributing free internet. There were already Chinese OEMs that were selling literally smartphones for 5,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees. And that led to about 50 crore odd people in India from tier 2, tier 5 cities just going to this smartphone bandwagon, where they now start spending 5 to 6 hours on their smartphones. And out of that, interestingly, they were spending about 1.5 hours just playing games, right? And I'm sure we all can imagine that point of time when we are all quite perplexed, seeing that wherever we go, we find people are now playing games, right? I book in Ola, and on my way down through my lift, the lift guy is playing Candy Crush, and I enter the Ola cab, and the driver is actually, playing bubble shooter, while waiting for me, and then those kind of stuff. So that is fairly revolutionary, and that started happening about end of 2017, early 2018, and it was backed by numbers as well, right? So India actually became a market with highest number of mobile game downloads. It catapulted to number 1 position. Just for the fact, currently India has 10 billion games. Just for the fact, India has 10 billion games currently downloaded annually. And if you look at number two is US at 5 billion, right? So there's a massive gap. India alone is probably, equal to the engagement in India is equal to almost from, the cumulative engagement that's generated from rank 2 to rank 9 countries, right? So that kind of a engagement deserved a model where there becomes a super app, right? And that was already there for video, for OTT, for short video, for photos, where there used to be one particular super app and people used to just download that, and that could be your go-to video app, for example, YouTube, Netflix, right? We thought of becoming a super app for gaming, something like a Netflix for gaming. And we decided to launch WinZO. So what WinZO does is it basically is a platform where third-party game developers can just partner with us and get their games on our platform. And from a user standpoint, a user can just download our application on Android or iOS, and they can play any of these games in real-time multiplayer mode. So, and the games are like, for example, carom, chess, bubble shooter, to some of the mid-core games like, let's say, PUBG, Free Fire. We recently partnered with Gameloft, Voodoo, and of course, your traditional real-money games are also there, like poker, rummy, fantasy, right? The good part is that this product is built for the masses. So from day one, we solved for the masses. So we launched Vernacular. It's available in 12 different languages. Majority of the consumption happens in non-English. It's very, very microtransaction led. So we believe in the magic of numbers, magic of volumes. So we do about 1 billion plus microtransactions every month. It's done by millions of people. We currently have garnered about 65 million registered users in the last 3.5 years. They've cumulatively raised close to $100 million. It's one of the best global marquee investors. And the idea is to really go ahead and shape up the ecosystem, right? So like I mentioned, if you see US, China, their gaming industries are very mature and have quite a bunch of massive corporates and entities, right? Several unicorns, multiple decacons, lots of public listed companies. However, in India, the time has now come, right? And over the next 6-7 years, you will see the market maturing, and a lot of people will become unicorns and decacons, and these companies are the ones that will be shaping up the future of the Indian ecosystem. And WinZO being one of the largest players, one of the front runners, it's our responsibility that how we look at shaping this ecosystem, right? Which comprises of a bunch of pillars. One pillar is, of course, of game developers. So we are doing some exciting stuff about which my colleague Abhishek will tell you in a while. We're doing a lot of stuff for game influencers, which we feel is the new age way to distribute product, generate a lot of gaming content. We personally, for example, work with 50,000 plus game streamers. It's all the big ones like Karim, Natty, Mortal, Scout. You just, you launch YouTube and you search WinZO and you'll have 100,000 plus videos of WinZO. And these are all built organically, by the way. So there's, that's particular, that's a pillar that we are very, very excited about. And then I think the future is, as we all can see, the future lies in, Web3s and blockchains and esports of the world, which is going to slowly come. It's already on its way. And we will all see those industries also taking more shape. But having said that, we do not. So one thing we do is we are a pure platform. We do not go ahead and make games in-house. We should not be mistaken for a company which is actually a gaming company or a game production house. We are actually a pure platform, a technology and data platform, so to say. We don't have game developers also in-house, right? The only folks that work here are either you are a developer or you are a product guy. That's how basically it works here in WinZO. There is a very strong leverage that we take through data and cutting edge technology to deliver a fabulous experience. And given the kind of scale that I just mentioned, it's I would say it's a remarkable feat what we've achieved so far. But still, if you look forward, it's still day zero for us. And it's always fascinating to sort of also come and discuss this at our home ground, which is IMCal, and interact, and happy to answer these questions towards the end of the session. But now I'll leave stage for my colleagues, Abhishek and Keerti, to share their insights and excitement and experiences around this venture. Abhishek?
Yeah, thanks, Paavan. Great to meet you guys, right? I'll share a bit of my journey of how it has been before WinZO and what is happening in WinZO, right? So I did the very unique journey of doing an engineering and then MBA, like hundreds of people at IIM every year. Completed engineering, did 2 years of MBA, and then moved to consulting. Did about 2.5 years at a firm called Retail Advisors. Now it's part of Bain. Just a second. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So did healthcare consulting for 2.5 years, then wanted to move out of healthcare in specific, and was discussing, figuring out what best I could do. RN. Right, and have had a passion for gaming since childhood, right? I was one of those that was playing a video game at 3 years of age and have continued playing it in the 25 years since. Been playing, say, Dota for 12 odd years, played competitively in 2010, 2011, national level competitions. But I also knew those were really scarce in India, right? You follow all of these tournaments globally, whereas there was nothing in India, at least till a couple of years ago, while India had that kind of potential with probably close to 500 million gamers, but there was nobody who was fulfilling that gap, right? So read up on WinZO. Also, obviously, Paavan was a well-known name since Calcutta, and post that, who has done so much in Zostel and ZO Rooms. So the startup was also something we could trust, right? And I joined it to actually experience what it could be, what I couldn't do, maybe say professionally play, but actually to contribute to that gaming industry and build something really great, which India could be proud of, right? While in my role here, I have been handling content or game acquisition. So I decide what games are required by WinZO or what would our consumers and customers love to play. So I handle that entire journey of figuring out which games should be brought on, what would be the traction be, and actually onboarding them, right? In this role, have had a chance to interact with some of the best studios globally, say Gameloft for Asphalt 9, Voodoo, which is one of the top casual gaming studios. I've spoken to CEO of Kabam, CEO of who has made Temple Run. Those kind of folks are you're talking to. And when you hear their outlook on the gaming industry, on how gaming progresses, you obviously learn a lot. And you can also inculcate that in your learnings, in your development as a person, right? And given it's a 120 odd people startup, there are multiple hats that you wear. So I sometimes look at payments. There are also parts of product that you're looking at, P&L ownership, and it's a very high impact role. Any change that you do, while in consulting, it took maybe 9 or 10 months till the client receives it, implements it, makes it live. Here, you can have that in say 9 hours, not even 9 days. Right? Any change you do, there is a 1.5, 2 million people who are experiencing the same thing the next day, and you get their opinion on that, right? So the stakes are high, but the payout and winnings are much higher. And when you're working with a market leader, obviously there are a lot more things you can explore, right? Not just very run-of-the-mill stuff, which somebody else would be copying us. When you're a market leader, you have that freedom to actually go out and test new things, try new things, partner with bigger studios and launch those games. Right, so I think Kirti can introduce herself and then we can follow up post.
Hello, Jokers. Good to be back on the campus. So I am 2019 grad. So I'll first share my journey and then my experience at WinZO. So I'm a commerce graduate, did BCom honors from SRCC. Post that, I directly went to do MBA from Calcutta. There, I interned with Goldman Sachs investment banking team, then moved to consulting during the finance. I worked with E.T. Carney in management consulting for around 1.5 years. And, obviously the consulting was great. You got a lot of exposure, worked across industry. But, after some time, I realized, I want my work to be more impact driven. Okay, so I just don't want to spend my time working on diagnostic, identifying opportunity, and just designing the strategy. Implementation is one thing which I wanted to do and see, what's the impact that I'm actually creating. So that's when, I decided to move to a role where, I have more ownership and I can see the impact of my work. So then I moved to WinZO. And WinZO gave me, very good exposure. So here I'm leading a particular business category, which is WinZO Store. So WinZO Store is kind of a marketplace where we sell digital products to the users. And this economy, I would say, is a very upcoming one in India and it's growing a lot. So, and it became more relevant around 2.5 years back. When, leading app stores in India, they impose 30% commission on the certain category of players and brands and games. So, and 30% is, a steep margin for any brand or company to give out to any player for just distribution or making their apps available. That's when, we realized that this is a very good opportunity to explore. We can very well act as a market channel and a distribution channel for these players to distribute their in-app products, their digital products like gift cards or subscription vouchers, and even in-game currencies. And we could very well, sell these products in the true Bharat, which is there, since we have a very strong market in tier 2 to tier 5 cities. And we have a very strong influencer base, which is promoting our products. And not just promoting, they are educating the users about how to use them, what is the benefit that is there, along with the micro SKUs that we provide to them. So if I talk about a user who is residing in a village, say in a state of Haryana or Punjab, he won't have much money, to spend on, say, 1,000 rupees on Amazon. but he would very well want to spend maybe 100 rupees or 200 rupees on a game or a digital product. And kind of savings that we give to them, it's very much beneficial. For them, even saving 5 rupees or 10 rupees is a very big amount, right? So that's how, we build the whole business vertical on that economy, monetize them very successfully. Apart from that, from learning point of view, I got exposure to all the fields, be it like product management or partnerships or strategy and growth. Here I can see, what changes am I doing and what impact is it causing? Is there, is there an uptake or downtake? What changes are exactly required to, if something is not working well? How do we cater to that situation and accordingly improvise the strategy, create the exact actual impact in the market? And also, learning is always there. I am doing product management over here. Being a commerce grad, honestly, and during Joka, I would have never imagined myself doing that. That was like one sector which I would have never imagined myself entering into. So yeah, it's a great exposure.
Great. Thanks a lot, Kirti, Abhishek. Just want to definitely highlight that everything, you launch the home screen of WinZO, you see 100 plus games created by 50 plus developers. Abhishek is the guy who's responsible for that. And also, of course, responsible for deciding what exactly would you be seeing, right? Because the home screen is completely personalized. So there's a lot of data science goes behind that bit as well. And Kirti, I think, has of course, been absolutely phenomenal when she joined from day zero. We saw that massive spark in her, very quick learner, very sharp learner. And though, like she mentioned, very humbly that she comes from a commerce background, I think she couldn't be faster at picking the ropes and very quickly giving marching orders to the engineers of the team as well on what should be the next product release. But I think coming to Cal, it's always more fascinating because there's an instant connect with the audience, right? Jaideep would love to know if there are any questions that our audience has for us. I think that's going to be a better way to take the discussion forward.
Definitely. Firstly, I would just like to mention that just listening to our alumni speak, and it's sort of an inspirational journey, inspiration for us. That looking at your journey, that okay, this is a phase that we are going through right now, and this is something that you have gone through. So that's really inspiring to us, and especially after so many years, you are talking to from Joka, and it must be a really good experience for you as well. So we indeed have a few questions for you. So I'll just start with my question first. Host privileges. So my question is basically that when you are creating an ecosystem, it's sort of a very huge barrier that a thought barrier that you have, that okay, there is Google Play, which is already a well-established ecosystem. So how do you overcome that thought block that okay, I'm going to create something which is going to compete with the biggest in stage right now?
Yeah. So I think it's definitely I can say that from the looks of it, it might sound ambitious, and you have just suddenly made it sound actually a lot more ambitious and difficult. When we were thinking about it, we didn't actually think it that way. That okay, we have to just take down on Google, right? Now think of it this way, right? If you talk about Google, right? If let's say you have to download a great game on Google, it's very hard for you to find out, right? It's at the end of the day, Google Play Store or that particular product is actually a listing product. It doesn't really give you a very personalized kind of an experience. You will never figure out what your friends are playing. You will never figure out what are the games, or let's say you are doing really well in one particular kind of a cricket game. The moment you will install the other cricket game, there is no cross-selling, cross-functionality, right? You have to start from the first level again, right? So I would say it's a very vanilla product, vanilla offering. And we wanted to put in a lot of data, put in a lot of social behind our particular platform, right? We wanted to be in a place where, let's say, if Jaideep is on this particular platform and both of us are gaming buddies, then I will just, at the click of a button can send a game request to Jaideep, and he just has to accept that request or that push notification, and both of us will be put inside the same game. We don't have to install and uninstall and send requests to each other, those kind of things, right? And that's exactly what happens in WinZO, right? Let's say you want to play a game of chess. You have to open the app, open chess, and just invite Jaideep there, and you will get a push notification. And the moment you will accept, both of us will be in a live match. So from an experience standpoint, what we've built is, I would say, a really, really advanced version, right? And that's why we've been able to get 90% of our installs organically or through word of mouth, because the product is so much better and so much richer than Google Play Store.
Right, definitely. That's a great answer. So we have another question coming in. Sejal is asking that keeping increased restrictions on fantasy sports in consideration, how can companies or even WinZO make sure that you can leverage this trend and profit on this, or how do you overcome this hurdle?
Yeah, actually, so it's not a zero-sum game, right? The size of the pie is too big for everybody to eat and grow alongside that. Statistically speaking, if you see, gaming is actually bigger than music and movies combined globally. Gaming as an industry is $160 billion worth, right? And if you talk about the India opportunity, again, it's not like if fantasy will go down, our business will go up. That's not how it is, right? And to be honest, we also have fantasy on our platform. It's just that we don't focus only on fantasy like probably other players like DreamWorld, right? So we are growing. There hasn't been a single month over the last 4 years that we have seen degrowth in our performances. And we are very excited about that. I think we haven't even spent a lot of money in marketing. Most of the money that we've raised is still in our bank accounts. So there's a lot more marketing spends that can be expected from our side. And we're only going to grow faster from here on. Of course, fantasy as a category is again a fairly growing segment. So that's how we think about it. There are going to be many such categories. I mean, there's going to be a Battle Royale is going to do well. I mean, we've known PUBG and Free Fire, both of them are direct competitors, but both of them are actually most downloaded platforms, the most downloaded games in India. So the kind of hunger or the kind of appetite for gaming content that's there in India is very large for all the players to thrive.
Right, definitely. And as you mentioned that, all these categories are growing and it's not a zero-sum game. So what does the future of Indian gaming industry look like to you now that you've been in this industry for this long?
Yeah, maybe, I'll of course add to it, but why don't, Abhishek, you want to take this one? Maybe share what kind of titles we are looking at, what kind of trends we are observing.
Sure. Right. So the future of gaming in India is obviously pretty big, right? Even now, even when we had 300 million gamers in the country, it's still growing rapidly, right? People from age 60, 65 are nowadays playing games. And obviously, there are even educative games which parents are wanting their children at ages 4 and 5 to play. So the pie is constantly growing. And in terms of, on the other side, on the supply side, what we have seen that we have also seen great gaming studios which are coming up in India, which say even 7 or 8 years ago, there was nobody who could be close to an EA Sports or an Asphalt in India. With the advent of mobile gaming, and especially with the prevalence of Jio now, there are a lot of mobile gaming studios which are coming up in India which could match to their level, right? And once that is there, I think we will have both sides of the battle where we have the providers and we have that kind of gaming user base in India.
Right, definitely.
Paavan, you want to add to that?
No, I think I mentioned in my very briefly touched upon it, right? I think future of gaming is really about the ecosystem creation, which has multiple pillars, right? Game streaming is one, game development is the other. I think we all know that China is so popular and it churns such great titles, right? But interestingly, China's gaming industry was 20 years back at probably a similar place where India is. Most of the Chinese titles back then, or people in China used to play not Chinese titles, but Korean titles, right? So 90% of the games that people used to play were actually international. And then eventually, gradually, Tencent grew and a bunch of other gaming companies grew. And now I think a large part of Chinese consumption, gaming consumption is happening on the back of homegrown titles and developers, right? I think India is also interestingly in a very same phase. Currently, a large part of engagement happens or is enjoyed by international publishers, but that is soon changing. There are, of course, some homegrown hits. Some of them we have also partnered with. And over the next 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to grow. We, in fact, are very, very bullish. Any and everything around gaming, right? So we have a dedicated game developer fund worth $20 million. We go ahead and invest in game developers through that. We've recently partnered with Kalari Capital in the form of GameCon, again, through which we are looking and scouting for opportunities and teams to back. In fact, at this point of time, I would like to, sort of also do a shout out and mention that if anybody who's in AMCAL circle looking to do anything in gaming, media or entertainment, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. We would love to discuss your idea. We're absolutely okay. I mean, check size wise, stage of the business wise, we're absolutely flexible and would love to know more.
Definitely. So in fact, we do have a few startups who are actually trying to get into the gaming space. So that would definitely be helpful. And so we have another question, which is sort of a future goal. So can we see your firm entering into entertainment anytime soon? Now that gaming is something that you've already had a good grip over.
Yeah, sorry, I did not get the question correctly because I think gaming is also entertainment, right?
Right. So the question was stating that no. So the question was that social gaming is growing in India, but at the same time, OTT is growing as well. So do you think that your firm will venture into the entertainment business via OTT?
See, we don't want to do that. I think the most important word in the life of a startup entrepreneur is what? Can you guess? It starts with F. It's focus, right? So you need to be really focused and great at what you're doing, right? And we are not building an OTT platform. We are building the best interactive gaming entertainment platform. And that's something that we will continue to build. But having said that, we of course have a section called WinZO TV, which is our game streaming section where game streamers can come and they can stream their gaming activity. They can engage with their fans and they can in fact do coaching also. So all those things are of course something which are nice adjacencies for us to continue to exploit.
Right, definitely. So I don't see any more I don't see any more questions coming in right now. I think Vani is here as well from our team. Vani, do you have a question? Oh, okay. I guess she doesn't. So
great. I would definitely love to know that how are you guys? Are there any startups which are currently in the pipeline? Are people starting off something in AMCAL these days? Would love to know the overall startup scene. Yeah.
Definitely. So as part of ESL, what we're trying to do right now is, get some support for the student startups on campus. So just recently, we've created a database for all the startups on campus and, trying to connect them to the incubation center. And as part of our Fest Genesis as well, we have a competition called I2I. So it's an idea pitching competition. So we've connected a lot of startups to the investors through this as well. So we hope to make good progress over the entire ecosystem in the coming year. So looking forward to that.
Sounds good. I think
Yes.
We as WinZO are always the biggest cheerleaders of any and everybody. And if any startup comes out of IIM Calcutta, then we'll love to participate and partner and guide, mentor, do whatever we can. And all the best to everyone out there. Thank you so much for having us here, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, guys. So just one last thing. We just wanted to play a short clip from our sponsor, if that's all right. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We are a direct hiring app, no middleman involved. We only allow the decision makers like founders, CXOs, HR, top management of the company to hire for their company. When the decision makers hire by themselves, the entire hiring process becomes very fast as there is no interdependency. We are a direct hiring app. No middleman is involved and hence there is no scope of scam or scenarios where job seekers are asked for money.
So thank you so much everyone for joining in, and we're really grateful that you could share your experience with us, and it was a really great experience talking to you and getting to know about WinZO. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Likewise. We can stop the recording now.
Thank you.
Yes.
Recording stopped.
Okay, great. So Jaideep, why don't you just connect us with these startups here?
Definitely.
Especially अगर कोई media entertainment content side पे है, so just do that. We are happy to incubate, provide seed funding, whatever it takes.
Right. Definitely, we're going to have an orientation session next week. So as soon as we have a good idea about what startups are doing, so then we can definitely connect them with you.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank
Right.
you. Bye-bye, guys.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
Thanks,
coming.
Eddie. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
We have strict verification guidelines where the recruiters are supposed to upload authorized documents to verify their company name as well as their identity, as we don't allow hiring consulting companies. Our audit team strictly reviews the information to decide whether we should allow them as a recruiter or not. All jobs, companies, and recruiters are 100% verified. No spam, no scam. For job seekers, applying for jobs is equivalent to initiating conversations with the recruiters. Here, I'm searching for a Java developer job. I can see matching jobs at my feed. All the jobs, companies, and recruiters are verified. The recruiters are online. AI recommends only active recruiters. I can check the profile of recruiters as well as their job posts, and I can directly chat with them. My privacy is protected as my CVs and phone numbers are not shared to anyone. The recruiter has to send me a request to access my CV or phone number. No middleman, direct chat with recruiters, secured privacy and mobile accessibility, instant response. Hirect stands as a 5 times better product for job seekers in the market.